Hello again. I'm happy to see you here, and I'm George from TV Rebel and Backstage TV. So hopefully you like the interview. So please tell me firstly, what have you done during the COVID days? Because it was quite hard times for all the musicians, for all us the musicians. You see my guitars. So
that's a hard question because now I have to relive the last 2 years.
Yeah, so
honestly, I mean, with all the craziness happening in the last 2 years, I must say that I feel like myself and the guys in the band, from the band's perspective, I feel like we got a lot accomplished because we actually wrote a new album and we recorded a new album. Unfortunately, I can't talk much about that right now. But anyway, we did a new album. Obviously, we've been practicing a lot because, there's not much that we can do other than that. And, we've been lucky in the sense that in Finland, it hasn't been like the situation hasn't been it hasn't been a catastrophe at any point fully. So we actually got to play a few shows, actually some festivals, and we've kept the band alive as well as you can. And, cool stuff is going to be happening towards the end of this year for sure, because I feel like now with the whole COVID thing, things are starting to maybe ease up. At least it feels like that, at least.
Yeah, no one really knows, but hopefully it's gonna end somehow.
Exactly.
That was crazy. I also have band, and I also played in a couple of other bands, and so it was like everything was 100% and then 0. So
exactly.
Yeah, we were just sitting at home playing the guitar, like when we started when we were 15. So it was kind of strange, but. Okay, let's get back to your band. So how would you describe Lost Society to the people who have never heard you? So because I read something like thrash metal, groove metal, I saw the videos, I heard the albums and stuff, and it's really cool, I would say. But how would you describe it? How would you
to be fully honest, I mean, especially, towards the latest record and what's going to be coming out later this year, I'd have to say that I've always felt like my favorite kind of way of putting, bands into different places is just to say it's a metal band. I think Lost Society is a metal band. I feel like in a certain way, I always understand fully why people like to put bands into very specific categories and specific genres. But I feel like in 2022, when pretty much everything possible and everything imaginable has been done in some way, I feel like it doesn't really help anyone to put you into a specific place, because I feel like for the band and the artist itself, it may be it puts unnecessary pressure in a way that you start automatically thinking, well, if we're considered to be this and this and this, we have to do this and this and this. And I think that's bullshit. When you play music, you do the thing you love. I think that's the main thing. So, to sum it all up, I would be super happy if in the future someday, when someone listens to our music, they're like, you know what, this is Lost Society. It sounds like Lost Society. Ooh. And, if we have to put some kind of tag on it, I mean, obviously it's going to be a metal band. That's pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah, I think it's sometimes really crazy when you read some reviews and it's something like a power progressive groove, black death, zombie metal,
Dude, exactly, because it's super counterproductive, because in a way you're already feeding the general public with an opinion before they even have heard a single note of the band. Mm-hmm. Because if you're going to tell someone that you have to judge this band with the preconception that they're a speed metal band, if it's not going to be super fast, you're automatically going to be disappointed. So in that way, I don't really understand that. But, I've always kind of loved to just say that, that's a rock band, that's a metal band, that's a pop band, just give the basic kind of elements what they're built up of.
Down to the ground with all your brains.
So now let's go back to the past and tell me something about your global battle of the bands. Because you won that in 2013, right?
Wow.
And this was something because for me, Nuclear Blast, it's some kind of a D label, you know.
Exactly. That's crazy. You know, we were just talking about it with we were just talking about the whole band competition and thing with the guys some weeks ago, and it's crazy because next year it's going to be 10 years since that whole thing happened. And you know, to sum it all up, I founded the band in 2010, and by this point we had 2 self-released kind of demo things out. And pretty much, you know, because I'm always the driving force behind the band, I'm constantly looking for opportunities. And, you know, in those times, I wasn't even 18 yet, so it was impossible to try to get local shows in bars or whatever. So I kind of thought of, well, hey, what's the next best thing? We'll just do band competitions, because what we need is any sort of publicity. And, you know, we were super lucky in a way that we did a bunch of them. I think we did 4 or 5. I don't know. I don't even remember if we won them or whatever. But we always, you know, we played an energetic show, and it always in some way furthered the band's career. So by the time I stumbled upon something called the Global Battle of Bands, I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, we're going to do that. And yeah, I mean, it sounds good. It sounds fucking good. So anyway, you know, I sent the demo in. We did all the paperwork and stuff. And, you know, we just went there, you know, 4 guys with an attitude to win. We were like, you know what, fuck, you know, we don't care what happens, but we're not going to play around. We're going to do our stuff. We're going to do it exactly the way we want to. And I feel like that kind of honesty what really came through, and that sort of honesty with the music and our performance and everything, to me, it's the driving force that has brought the band to this day, because, you know, we stay true to ourselves, and that's the main thing. We're going to do whatever the fuck we want to do as long as it feels right to ourselves. So, you know, we won that competition. We went to the global finals, and we blew that thing because, you know, it was just us, and then it was like a bunch of pop acts, and, you know, there was like a reggae band which was fucking sick, and, you know, there was all kinds of other stuff, and then there was us, and we played, you know, we did 2 songs, and it fucking, you know, I don't think anyone understood what happened, but, you know, we didn't win that, but we got the most important, you know, victory in our careers thus far, which was obviously signing with Nuclear Blast. And, you know, we went on to release 3 records through Nuclear Blast. Then with the previous record, we did that ourselves, but now we have signed back to Nuclear Blast, which, you know, to me, it just feels like we're back where we belong. Because like you said, you know, Nuclear Blast is the label. It's the place where you want to be, and it's the place where I feel like the people who run it are such, you know, they're music fans. They love what they're doing. So that really makes it easy for, you know, the whole thing to run around, because we love the music, they love the music. So, you know, it's a match made in heaven or hell, you know.
No absolution.
So then, your second album was charted at number 6 in the official Finnish chart, right? So this is, again, you know, and also the 4th album now in 2020, it's 2 years already, but No Absolution was number 4 in Finnish chart. How the hell is that possible, you know? Because you're a metal band, you're a groovy thrash metal band, and you made it. So congratulations, by the way. That's the first thing I want to say. But, you know, it's something totally impossible here in my country, I would say. And we have many metal fans, and here is a huge base of people who support metal scene.
Yeah.
But you know, the official chart, it's something totally different. It's like a different world. So how did this happen? You know, how is this possible?
Dude, honestly, I have to salute the Finnish public, because you know it's not a mystery, or it's not a secret that Finland has, you know, throughout its musical history, it's always been a huge metal country. You know, you have bands like Children of Bodom, you had Stone before Children of Bodom, you have Nightwish, Him, you know, all these great bands. And, you know, I feel like it has such a big part in the Finnish culture, and it's never going to disappear, because, you know, it goes back to just the fact that, you know, for 9 months out of the year, it's fucking dark here, it's cold here, people have nothing to do. So what do? They want to translate their aggression into something. And, you know, just so happens that metal music and, you know, the kind of hard rock music and rock music in general was the perfect place to put all of that. And I feel like it's something that really, it transcends the different generations, and it's just something that, you know, it keeps on being as massive as it was 30 years ago, if not even bigger nowadays. So, you know, it's just, it's a big shout out to just the Finnish public for, you know, supporting these bands. Like, for example, us, because we were a relatively small band. I mean, we still are a relatively small band in the greater scheme of everything. But people here really feel like, or I feel like people really want to support the up-and-coming bands. They're like, you know what, these guys are doing something that, you know, Children of Bodom started tens of years ago. We want to continue this. We want to put Finland up on the world map. And I feel like that's what's happening constantly. And, you know, I mean, as the latest, you know, generation of rock music, like, for example, with a band like Blind Channel that have fucking blew up. And, you know, they're proudly taking the Finnish name in the world right now. So, you know, I feel like it's just, this country is the perfect country to start a band that's kind of hard rock or metal or whatever. And I'm fucking happy about that, obviously.
Okay, maybe I should think of moving there, because this is, you know, really something special.
Honestly, that's the thing. And, you know, because for many people, they ask for like, you know, concrete examples of how the Finnish, you know, kids kind of learn into music and learn into maybe hard rock and stuff like that. You know, it starts with when you start going to elementary school in this country. You have, you know, like, it's a part of the mandatory kind of school education system that you have music class every week for, you know, a couple of hours. You have these books that have just like, you have like a book that has chords for, you know, be it Lordi or Children of Bodom or Nightwish or whatever. So you're introduced to it at a very early age. And if you choose to, you know, play in a band or whatever, there's endless possibilities of getting a rehearsal room here. There's music stores everywhere. So, you know, it's like, I think like the stars are just aligned if you want to become a musician in this country, which is fucking sick.
Yeah. And how is the situation among the bands themselves? Because I made the interview with Rasmus a couple of weeks ago, and they told me that they are always trying to support just Finnish bands, like the Support X for the tour, and that this is the same thing that Him does, and also Nightwish and these kind of bands. So how do you feel? How is the feeling among the bands there?
You know, it's super cool, because I feel like there's always been like a camaraderie between all the bands. I've never felt, you know, in the 10 years that I've actively kind of, you know, played in this band and actively toured this country, I've never felt like anyone is out to get you. You know, there's no one who wants to sabotage what you're doing just because they may play the same kind of music. So I've always felt like, you know, when we meet up with bands that we've never met before, that we look up to, or, you know, the other way around, it's always just mutual respect. We always get along. And, you know, like, for example, like the band that I obviously talk about a lot always, which is Children of Bodom, who always were kind of like the musical big brothers that we had. You know, from the first tour that we were lucky enough to get to support them around Finland, you know, they took us in under their arms. You know, they were like, you know what, when you do this, please look out for this, and, you know, be sure to do this and this and this.
Right.
It's always about, you know, giving the newer generation good and valuable information, just to, you know, to help them and to support them. And I feel like that's the general kind of that's the general mood between bands here, that we all want to just help each other.
You think you are my boss? Oh, that's a fucking loss. You think you are my friend? Oh, think again.
I was about to ask you for the, you know, how do you remember the tours with Children of Bodom, and how was Alexei? You know, how was it to be in his company, for example?
Dude, it's just one of those things. I'd say that band, you know, more than anything else, was kind of the band that I realized that you can be a fucking superstar. You can be a band and people who have pretty much done everything that you, you know, aspire to do in your career, and still you can be the nicest people on earth. And that's, you know, that's one of the things that I'm always going to remember about the band, and especially about Alexei, because, you know, they had accomplished so much. Alexei had accomplished so much, but they always kept, you know, they were always on the ground. They kept their feet firmly on the ground, and that's what I really respect, because I've been lucky enough that I haven't met, you know, someone that I'd be like, oh my God, what a fucking asshole. But with those guys, it was just, they were the nicest people I've ever met from the first time I met them. And, you know, like, in a way, they don't really have any, there's no obligation for them to be nice towards anyone, but they just choose to be, because they kind of realize themselves at a very early age that they're just so lucky that they get to do what they love. And, you know, they play a sort of metal music and a sort of music that's so marginalized. It's so, like, it's such a small thing, and they accomplish so much. So they always kind of felt like, you know what, we're just going to enjoy the ride. And that's, you know, that's always going to be something that I hold near and dear to me, because that's what I aspire to be myself. I never want to be the guy who's like, oh, you know, fucking, I'm not talking to you. I'm this and this and this. Like, there's no fucking time for that. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we're all here to keep this music alive, and we have to, you know, we got to teach the younger generations how it's done. We got to support each other. And, you know, that's why Bodom was always the big brothers for us. And Alexei was, you know, he was my big brother. He taught me so fucking much. And I will, you know, for the rest of my life, everything I'm doing is dedicated to that guy. So, you know, they really taught us a lot.